Hello. Good. Thanks for everyone to be here. This talk's going to be breaking into the industry. And Milos, you go to the next slide. We'll give a quick introduction first for those of you that don't know us. So my name's Ben, Ben Flatt. I'm the talent acquisition manager at Red Hill Games. I've been in recruitment and talent acquisition for about 7 years now, various kind of tech companies before moving into gaming. I'm from the UK originally, but I'm now based in Finland. I've been in Finland for about a few years now. And a little fact about me, one of my all-time favorite games is World of Warcraft, though recently I've been playing a lot of first-person shooters like Overwatch and Apex Legends. So,
Hello, everyone. My name is Milos and I'm the executive producer and co-founder here at Red Hill Games. Next year is gonna be my big 2-0, 20 years in the industry. I started many years back in all good but old 2.5D adventure games. Started on the narrative side as a narrative designer, but very quickly shifted in level design. Was the level designer and the technical designer for about 12 years before I got crazy and swapped into the filling Excel sheets and doing a lot of Jira shenanigans with people, aka production, where I'm here as well now. And yeah, as Ben mentioned, the World of Warcraft. Well, I have to mention Baldur's Gate 2. It will be my go-to, and I know there is Baldur's Gate 3. Have a family now. Still need to wait for the holiday periods to have enough time to sit down and see if my all-time favorite got beaten up, because I've heard great things. I've heard great things.
it's an amazing game, really good game. So yeah, a little bit about Red Hill Games. I think some of you may have heard of us if you're in Finland. Those of you outside maybe haven't. So Red Hill Games is 5 years old. We just celebrated our 5th birthday, a few weeks ago now.
Mhm.
Our headquarters is in Helsinki. We also have a smaller office in Cyprus, in Nicosia. We have 85 employees now with over 20 different nationalities, which is super cool. We do we now moved into co-development. So we partner with AAA studios worldwide, and we assist them and help them on developing their titles. And at the moment, we have partnered with Blizzard Entertainment, and we have recently announced that we're working on Overwatch 2, which is really cool, and everyone here is really enjoying it. So really, really exciting stuff. So breaking into the industry. Big topic. I know lots of people have lots of questions. I've checked out a few of the other talks, and there's been lots of people asking about getting into the industry, how to do it, tips, tricks. This talk is really aimed at juniors, graduates. It could also be people that want a career change. It doesn't just have to be someone who's a graduate or a junior. It's kind of targeted at anyone who wants to get into the gaming industry. And again, there's so many roles in the gaming industry, so this is quite generalist. We will try and cover as many different areas of game development, but ultimately we could spend all day talking about this. So we've tried to condense it into 30 minutes, and we'll try and have time for questions at the end.
And I think as well, this picture really beautifully shows the beginning. We all know it's difficult to actually go through, and there are so many obstacles. And at the beginning, it feels like gargantuan work. And I always get the question at the beginning, like, where to start? What should I do? How can I get in? And for me, if I would simplify to one sentence, if there will be one thing I wish everyone here would sort of bring home, it will be this. It will be this message. Just prove your passion by doing, not by talking. I think the passion is what you will hear from me, and I will be super annoying throughout the presentation about it. But it is really the main and the most important thing in your doings, because the passion can get you so far. It can help you throughout all the difficult times, because as we were talking, for example, even during the fireside chat, there is a lot to put in to be able to start crushing it. And you will have to show at the beginning quite a bit of push. But I do believe that if you grab stuff, if you start by small, you will manage to succeed in your dream of making a games. And this presentation is really sort of a list of things, a list of ideas how to actually do that.
Yeah. When we were kind of brainstorming, we put that slide first because a lot of these slides go back to this, and you should be
Mhm.
passionate about what you're doing, and kind of follow it. And it's kind of one of the slides that we'll keep going back to throughout the presentation, just because it's so important. to kind of prove by doing. So yeah, next slide. So I guess the big one is kind of portfolio, and you know, you'd be surprised, and I know a lot of people here probably watching, you have a portfolio, but there's some people that still don't. And we do get applications of people that haven't maybe put something together, or they haven't showcased their best work. And this seems like quite an obvious one, but just putting to, and something which I would say, and I'm sure Milos would agree, is, and I saw this question from a few other people, is when you're applying for a job, do people check my portfolio? The answer is 100% yes. Is a portfolio more important than a CV? Depends on the role, but most of the time I would say yes. I know for a fact, working in recruitment, and whether it's a programming role, whether it's a character art position environment, I know the hiring managers, they have a quick look over the CV, but one of the first things they're going to do is they're going to look at the portfolio. Programming, they're going to look at your GitHub, ArtStation, for artists, UI, UX, other portfolio websites. They're just going to want to see how you showcase your work. And I would say it's very, very important to put something together. And I guess it's sometimes often missed. There's also a big question around tailoring your portfolio to the job. Obviously, you only have so much time, but if you're looking for, let's say, you want to join a company that's very focused on stylized, and a lot of your portfolio is like this dark horror realism, they may look at that and may ask questions about if you actually could do stylized work. So I know you don't have that much time maybe to tailor your portfolio to the right style of the company, but again, it goes back to follow your passion. If you really like stylized work, focus on that and make that kind of what you most enjoy. If you love realism, horror, dark style, focus on that and develop that. And a big other thing on portfolios is getting feedback. So if you're putting together and you're applying and you're speaking to companies, you're speaking to hiring managers, you're attending events like this, one of the big things is get feedback from your work. Like, people are open, very open in this industry. Our art director, for example, was just in the Fireside Chat. He's very helpful with giving feedback on portfolios and giving you advice. And that's one way I'd say definitely to improve. And again, there's plenty of other kind of ways you can improve your portfolio, but getting feedback, I just say, is really key. And I'm sure you'd agree, Milos, with
One
checking portfolios first.
100% portfolios are critical, and there was a very good question like how can I actually do a portfolio like a QA engineer, or how a level designer can make a portfolio, or how do I make a portfolio when I haven't made games yet? Well, all of those things can get in. You can put in examples from a game jams. You can put you can make a video of what you have done at school as a side projects, or when you are starting as a level designer, put the stuff that you are learning in Unreal. Show some of the examples of the creativity you are putting in, how you work with an engine. Short video of games that you've tested. Of the things of the teams, make a sort of a highlight reel, almost think an example as a reels in case that you have something, or as you mentioned, Ben, GitHub, amazing for engineers and programmers of sort. Show the snippets of a code, show what you have done, and all of those are ways how you can get it through. And obviously, there was a question about NDAs. Yeah, sometimes the NDA is a problem. I would say then, if it's a lot of games under NDA, sometimes you might ask as well the company, hey, can I, if I get further along in the interview process, can I share some of the stuff? You talk with the company. There are ways around it, and communication and discussing is always a key. But the one thing that, and like, I'm happy that you mentioned Ville, that when we were talking about this one, he had a very good point, which was keep your portfolio up to date. If you are 15 years in an industry, you probably don't really want to show what you've done 15 years ago as a hobby project. There might be something better in your line. You don't want me to really see the work that you are not super psyched about, or is not really explaining what you are doing right now. It's better to have 5 things in a portfolio, 5 best work that you have, compared to having 20 different screens. Always think about, is this something that represents my skill set right now? Is this something that represents me the best? Do I want someone to see this? It's better to really focus. I've done my share of art, unfortunately, and I think with the unfortunately, many of my colleagues can say, yes, I'm not the best artist. I wouldn't put it in the portfolio, even though I'm very proud of my Voxy helicopter. That, as our technical artist said, it was the most optimized helicopter because I couldn't use less boxes than I used. I will not put it in there. So think your portfolio really through. And I already touched it a bit, but game jams and hobby projects or small or joining small teams, they are your ways to build a portfolio. Because someone might say, but does it really count? Of course it does, especially at the beginning of your process. It does count so much. And if you are a designer and you come to me, it's like, Milos, I really would like to be in industry. My first question is going to be, what did you done for it? And if you don't show anything, I'm just, well, you know, go and try stuff out. There's so many teams that are looking for small help here and there. I know we all need work. I know that but we need to make our living. You can do it in the evenings. You can do it over the weekends. You can find some time. It doesn't have to be every day doing game jamming or helping some companies, but there is so much that you can just jump in and prove yourself and slowly build up your skill set and working with a team. This is the best way for you to actually stand out against the other candidates, because this will show that you are not talking about joining the industry. You are joining the industry. You are already part of the industry. I would love to see that, and that's exactly the first thing I'm looking when I'm checking interns or juniors into the that are applying to Red Hill Games.
Hmm. Yeah, completely agree. And I think you'll also meet a lot of like-minded people, make a lot of friends and network, which is we'll talk about that in another slide. The other thing is someone asked about like level design QA again, like game jams, personal projects. Can definitely showcase a lot of people put together YouTube videos, personal websites, kind of showcasing work and games they've worked on, hobby projects, things like that. So yeah, good. Um, and then the big one. So I felt this is really important to discuss, and this maybe is for people that it's probably if you're maybe a graduate junior more than anything, maybe seniors a little bit different this slide. But one of the kind of things is we have a lot of people that maybe did a game design course and they've covered a lot of different areas within game development. I have a lot of people that kind of come up to us and say like, okay, I've done environment, I've done character, I've done programming, I've done game design, I've done level design, and they're like, I want to do what opportunities do you have? I'll do anything. And they've kind of been a bit of a generalist. And I would say like focus on what you most enjoy and kind of build that. And something which Olga said in one of our previous talks was, as a junior, focus on your strengths, not on your weaknesses, which I
Mhm.
thought was a really good comment. And if you really love character, or you really love environment, or you really love QA, well, focus on that. Don't try and maybe take a role that you want to do just to get into the industry, but it's not really something you're happy with doing. Um, and also this is a way for you to stand out. If you love doing characters, specializing in just characters and building up an amazing portfolio of characters is going to look great. It's going to show that you're passionate about it, that you really want to do it, and you're also going to build up your own skills in that area. Trying to do too much, the game development is huge. There is so many different areas and things to learn. You don't want to overwhelm yourself with trying to do too much just to stand out. You want to kind of focus and do what you enjoy and specialize in that one area, and kind of develop that.
You are right, and I was super happy when Olga mentioned it because I fully agree with that. There is the line from a Strength Finder, the famous book that it's way more important to focus on the strengths, because at the end of the day, that's what makes you special. That's what makes you stand out. And yes, that's what you want. You really want. You really want to show what do you love, where is your passion. And again, we are going back to the passion, right? I'm sorry, I told you I'm gonna be annoying with that word, but I do think that is the deal breaker, because even if you get in, there's gonna be so much for to learn. There's gonna be so many hurdles you will have to go. And I'm not trying to scare you off. When we were doing dry run, Yarushka, our branding person, she straight away it's like, don't scare people. It's beautiful industry. I agree, but I do have to say that it is something where the passion will help you to actually overcome all of those, because at the end of the day, it's amazing, and what we do is very special. So every single time when I see a candidate, my first question to them, even when I, for example, talk with 15 years in industry, with a level designer, my first question: do you prefer mission design? Do you prefer environment art side of things, or do you are you a generalist designer? I want to know, what do you want to do. I want to know, what do you love and where is your heart, and what is the special sauce that you have and that you are bringing to the paper. And this really starts from the first day. This starts with the first moment. And when you start, the easiest for you are internship and entry level positions. You know, Someone asked me like, does it make sense to apply if to a senior position when I'm junior? Well, the answer is not much. It's probably not gonna really make the cut. There is gonna be quite a bit of people who are doing the same thing, and you will be just one of many. But there are lots of companies who are looking into the newcomers to bring the new blood into the teams, and this will really help you out. Uh, Even if this doesn't pan out for you, even if it doesn't continue anywhere, it already gave you the experience. All the companies are looking. It gives you the opportunity for networking, to connect with people, to have a little bit of a background in the industry with in terms of who do you know, and this could help you to open the future doors. And it is one of the best ways how to start, because going and looking into relocating straight away as a junior or as an intern to one of the big companies will be a stretch. So look around in your location, look around the country or countries you are closest to, and start there, because that will increase your chances straight away.
And just one tip on that as well is a lot of companies have like open applications, and they do get checked, they do get read. At least we do. I can't speak for every company in the world, but they do get checked, and a lot of the time that you can get notifications. So signing up for interns, I mean, for example, on our website, you can sign up internships. As soon as an internship goes live, you get an email, and you can be one of the first ones to prepare, get your foot in the door. So yeah, definitely worth doing that to lots of companies, that you like signing up for job alerts so you don't miss anything. Because often internships are only advertised for a short time because they're so popular.
Mhm.
So definitely worth doing that. Good. And preparing for interviews. So this seems like like a really obvious slide. Like, okay, of course we're going to prepare for interviews, but you'd be surprised that a lot of people don't actually still prepare. And when I mean preparers, I mean just understanding a little bit about the studio. When I first was kind of applying for jobs way back, this is a long time ago, when I first getting into the kind of industry, and I would know everything about that company. I was stalking their social medias, which sounds weird, but I was like looking at their posts, what they're doing, what games they're releasing, what they were working on, possibly company announcements, projects that maybe failed, projects that were success, and I was kind of using that in the interview just to kind of give a little bit of an edge that I've done some research. I know about the game that was cancelled, or I know about that you had some event, 3 months ago, and it just shows that you've done a little bit of homework, and it really does like help you to stand out just that little bit more. I interview people all day, every day, and a lot of people like kind of little tip is, what do you know about Red Hill Games? And some people are like, I don't really know that much, and it's like, I know people are busy and you have lots of different interviews possibly, and you apply for lots of companies, but just do that quick 5-minute check. Like it really does go a long way. And again, like I treat every interview as a learning opportunity as
Mhm.
well. I mean, you won't maybe get an offer on every interview, but it's always a good learning opportunity to take away and to practice. But yeah, like understanding the culture, the values of the company, it goes a real long way, and it definitely shows that you're really keen on that company and you want to join them.
Yeah, in fact, I can give you a small hint. If you would ever do interview with me, I will give you a benefit. My first question is going to be exactly that. Why Red Hill? And hey, I know that you probably applied to many companies. I know that you most likely actually are trying different places. I just want to see how much of the homework have you done? Like, have you given it a thought? Like, is it really something that you are just trying shotgunning around, or that you really have actually some passion into maybe something we do, or that you spend some extra effort on preparing? It is important, and it can be the difference. So don't underestimate that, because it could be actually the
Yeah.
one special case that will make you stand out against the others.
Yeah, and just one quick thing on this as well is be very careful with using AI to write cover letters and applications. Like AI is an amazing tool, and I'm not anti AI. I think AI is really interesting and can really help with so many different areas. But if you're like, write my CV with AI or write a cover letter with AI, as a native speaker, if you don't edit it and you don't personalize it, it is so obvious. And I attended another talk, and a lot of hiring managers were like, "Yeah, if it shows it's AI, like it's better to not have it than just have one that was like really poorly written with AI." So just be careful with AI if you don't know how to tweak it, or maybe English isn't your native language. Um, just be careful with that.
So I already touched that once, and when we were going through the presentation, I was like, I want to own this slide at the beginning. The reason is simple. I'm even though it might not look like I'm an introvert. I really don't like cold calling, and I'm not really outgoing on parties and stuff. So for me, building a network is not the easiest, but even I have to say it's super important, and you really need to look into how to do those. Me personally, what I do is that I use my wife or friends or some people who are good as sort of the icebreakers to open me up the conversations, and sort of then I carry on because I know that for me, coming to a party and just randomly standing next to a table is like, hey, I'm Milos, how are you doing? It's just not working out with me. But the network can give you some information about the companies you will be possibly talking. You might find out about some company that is looking for a job, or you might find someone who is just about considering like, there could be an intern or not. Like maybe we are looking for someone, maybe we are not. We are not openly talking about it. All of this could be your way in. All of this could be an important moment, and it starts exactly by you being on events like this and not being afraid to grab someone's calendar and say like, hey, can we talk? Or going to LinkedIn and just asking, hey, could you give me some advice? Could you help me out? So find your way. What is the most natural for you? The tool that is most natural for you, and start building your network.
Yeah. And I would say, I just as well, like if you're introverted, if you find it difficult, or maybe there isn't events locally and you're doing it online, like there is a lot of online communities as well, like especially for game jams, hobby projects. I mean, I think ever since the pandemic, we've now become like we have so much more remote options. Like remote. There's so many things that are much more remote and online, and more so every day. So like game development forums, there is so many Discord groups as well, like game development Discord groups. Um, also in Finland, like an IGDA meetups are great. Events like this, job fairs and events that are online on site. Yeah, really, really helpful. And I think most of the time I attend events. I mean, I don't know if you can see, I have a whole list of badges, like of all the events I've attended. And I always remember after the events, I always remember like looking at my LinkedIn and seeing how many people I maybe connected with at that event. And there's always loads, which is really cool. So definitely, like, it's good to network, meet people, and it's not just about meeting people to maybe get into the industry. It's also just about making friends and having fun, right? Like making games is fun. It's just to have fun, make friends, and do something you're passionate about and you enjoy. So good. So I guess this is like the persistent slide. So there may be some of you that are listening to this and going like, Ben, Milos, I've done all of this. I still aren't in the industry. Like, I've done everything you're telling me. Like, what am I doing wrong? And I would say that it is tough. It is tough. It is a competitive industry, but I would say is be persistent. You will get there eventually. Keep doing what we've said in the previous slides. Follow your passion. Build up and specialize in an area. Keep networking. Keep attending events. Keep speaking to people, and keep trying. You will get there. If you believe it, you're passionate about it, just keep following it. It is a tough industry to get into, but once you're in it, you are in it. You are in the once you've got that first role, once you've got that little bit of experience, it goes so much easier. And that may be a problem with the industry, but it's the truth. Once you're in, it's so much more easier for you to then learn and grow. So that first role is always going to be the hardest, but once you're in the industry, like, it can get much easier from there. You'll build and get more experience, more professional experience, and you'll grow. So keep trying. And again, like, you'll learn out your mistakes, not your successes. I mean, you'll learn from every application, from every interview, from every game jam, from every hobby project. You will learn from that, and you'll only kind of, you'll be going up the chain. So just keep trying, and you will get there. You will get there.
And many, I saw and I read through the chat, and even in the previous chat on the far side, there were so many people who are saying, I've done all of those things, why it doesn't work? Sometimes it takes time, and I'm really sorry it does. I know it sucks, and I know that it is really tough, but that's the moment where I said I will be annoying with a passion. You have to lean into it, and even though it might be difficult, I believe that you will overcome it at some point. You will cut through at some point, and uh, you know, in the meantime, try the game jams, try the hobby projects, try to join some small teams that need help here and there. Get the 6 months experience here, 12 months experience there. Get those small things into your portfolio. Those small victories. Not only that it will be good in the portfolio, but it will as well give you the energy and even more fuel the passion of, hey, we can do this. Like it's so much fun to work with people, like-minded people who are actually driven as you are. And not only that it will help you out on your path, but it will as well give you the energy back that you will need so bad in the interviews and on the path to become the great next upcoming designer or artist or audio designer, you name it. And that would be our short talk.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. I mean, very encouraging presentation. We got a lot of questions, so I will definitely ask you
Yeah.
to stay here in the backstage to
mhm.
take them, but maybe we can take a few. What to put in the
Yeah.
portfolio when you don't really have a real experience?
As I mentioned, and I think I actually touched it a bit. I would start by your hobby projects, your personal things you are doing. If you are artist, easier. If you are programmer, take your snippets of your code into the GitHub. The small things you are doing in the evenings. If you are QA, producer, designer, school projects, take videos of what you have done. To be honest, game jam is amazing for that because you have a very small group of people who need to do something in very short amount of time. It's perfect for designer to or
Mhm.
producer to show that they are able to work under those very stressful and difficult circumstances. It's perfect for me to see. We actually hired Barjan, our designer or level designer, the same way. I was looking for regular. He applied as an intern from school. When I saw the portfolio of the school projects and game jams he was doing, I straight away said like, send him the test. I want to see how this person will do. And hey, he got in, and he was working. He's already working. So it's there are
Okay.
ways, and all of those small things can get you through.
Yeah.
Next question. Do you have advice to break into the industry while competing with AI technology? I've been denied positions twice on account of being told that AI are better alternative, being asked to train AI to replace my field, narrative writing positions.
Mm.
So
Controversial question on the AI topic,
very,
but
very, very controversial, and I will I will start by the end, and that's the narrative part. I was myself a narrative designer at start, and it is not easy place to be. And I would say if you are a narrative designer, my suggestion would be start looking into mission design, level design, because it's very close, and you might find your passion there as well, because it is part of narrative design. It's again building words, building experience, translating the vision, and it might be as well easier for you to get in because as a narrative designer or a screenwriter, it is very rough, and it's not as easy, and there's as well very little companies who could actually offer you that type of an experience.
mm. And just on AI tools, I think it's good. I don't think AI is going to replace all of our jobs, but I think it is good to have an industry awareness of how AI works and how it's going to be used in the workplace in the future. So it's definitely worth doing research into AI. But it's not. I don't think it's going to suddenly steal everyone's jobs. Maybe not for another 50 years.
Very quick one, 1 minute. May I ask what kind of portfolio QA engineer may have?
Examples of your work. So where have you been working, what you were testing, all the hobby projects you were doing. If you are, for example, automation QA, or if you are doubling down into automation, again, snippets of the code, examples of, if you were helping someone, if you were doing beta tests, join the beta tests, help out the companies, help to sometimes jump on the discords when they are actually looking for those, like some small indie studios, and use that as your beginning, as your starting place, because that's the way to get in. And definitely in the junior positions, especially on the QA side, I would say look into local companies, into someone around you. As a junior QA, it's going to be very hard for you to find international or relocation.
Thank you. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. I hope you can spare another maybe 5-10 minutes here on the
Of
backstage.
course,
Yeah.
more
Answered
than
a
happy
lot of
to.
questions.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks everyone. Thanks for attending. We'll try and
Thank
answer all
you
the
all,
questions.
and hopefully it
Take
made
care.
sense.
Yeah.